Hello everyone, I wanted to bring to you a team that I'd been trying out today for Ultra League. I wanted to have a try out one of the new Pokemon from the 12km eggs, and that is Bisharp. Looking at it, it's got not such a great win rate overall, but being a Dark Steel it's got a couple of really interesting ones. In particular it does very well against Cresselia and Giratina, and as well as having Focus Blast on the side for the surprise on the Registeel. I've combined it with an Obstagoon, which also really doesn't like fighters or fairies. So between the two of them, that's a key thing to get out of the way. So this is a bait team. We lead with our Togekiss. We use our Obstagoon to try and draw out any fairies or fighters, finish them off with Togekiss, and then sweep with the Bisharp. That's the idea anyway. If they've got two, then we're in trouble. We're pretty much going to have a bad day then. But generally speaking, I think we can gather up enough advantage between Cresselia and Giratina to sweep most matches. That's the idea. So let's hop into a few matches and see how it plays out. I've been doing Ultra Premier usually, but haven't been having such a good time with it this season. I don't know how yours has been going. I've been finding that it's very hit and miss as to how well I'm doing. This team, on the other hand, has had me quite a good run. So, leading a Togekiss into a Cresselia. We're not going to give it a chance to charge up because we know Moonblast is probably incoming, so we just switch quickly to the Obstagoon. Obstagoon resists the psychic damage, it's neutral to the grass knot damage, and it takes super effect from Moonblast. They're not going to be using a Future Sight because they'd be daft, because it'll do no damage at all. Moonblast it is. Okay, so Moonblast comes through, does quite a lot. We don't shield here because we're actually quite happy for them to take out our Obstagoon with Cresselia, because we can bring in the Bisharp in the back to farm. At least that's the idea. Okay, so we'll just let this go through. Actually, I'm calling a bait here, and true enough, grass knot. And there we go. Night Slash can throw back. Maybe we'll get a shield off them. Still a shield lead would be good. There we go. Yes, they didn't want the Cresselia to get too low. So there we go. Incoming. This doesn't really matter what this is. If it's grass knot, it will finish us off. And sure enough, there we go. So now we've got a Bisharp to come out and start farming down. Now the joy of Bisharp here is that they can throw anything they like at us and we resist it. Sorry, we don't quite resist the Moonblast because the Steel and the Dark cancel out, but we still do some good damage and we can just farm all the way down. Hopefully this will be a grass knot. Go on, you know you want to? Yep. See, doesn't do a lot of damage. I mean, it's adding up because we're quite squishy, but now we've got a nice big chunk of loaded energy to throw at this Swampert. And because we're Steel type, we do have to watch out for the ground damage, but back-to-back Dark Pulses will get their attention. Hopefully get that last shield off them. There we go, yep, there's the shield. We're going to quickly charge, and because of course it's a Swampert, we're going for a switch here, and hopefully this is a Hydro Cannon. Yep, great. If it was a Sludge Wave that would hurt, but they'd be very brave to throw a Sludge Wave at a Steel type. So there we go. We're going to shield the Hydro Cannon incoming, and I think we're going to farm down with the Charm here. There we go, Charm, Charm, Charm. Right, so two things left, and a nice shield lead, and the Cresselia is quite low health. I think we're in a good place. Sure enough, the Cresselia was on quite low health. And in comes a Muck. Now, we've got to watch out for the Sludge Wave here. That is going to hurt. But we are just going to throw an Ancient Power and go for a Boost Fish, I guess. There we go, take a chunk off them. Probably should have gone for a Flamethrower, actually. But I'm anticipating this is going to be a Sludge Wave and shielding. And sure enough, there it is. So, are they going to get another one? I think they might. And I'm going to overcharge for a Flamethrower. Yeah, there we go. So I should have thrown the rock move, but I think we're still in a good place because we do have our Dark Steel here and slightly more health and an energy lead on the Dark Pulse. So good game to my opponent. It's going to take them out. There we go. So yes, this team is not a well balanced team. I don't think it would work well in an open meta. I did accidentally run into Ultra League in it a couple of times and got destroyed. Double vulnerability to fighting is a disaster in a fighting busy meta, but actual open ultra tends not to be. So the Mew is there. We're just going to switch into our Bisharp. We have to respect the possibility of there being a flame charge here, so we shield, but we do resist their Shadow Claw very hard, and we do super effective with the Dark, so we can equalise shields quite easily here, hopefully. Sure enough, there goes the shield. Right, in comes a Registeel. Now, this is the interesting one. We've got an energy lead, so that means we get to Focus Blast slightly after they do. Unfortunate. Still, incoming Focus Blast. Let's see if they know what we've got. This will be a nice surprise for them if they don't. There we go, incoming Focus Blast. Wow, look at that. Takes a massive chunk off the Reggie, and now we can really pressure them with a Dark Pulse. And this is a really crazy idea, because if they were sharp on the switch, but no, we got a Focus Blast. If they'd used the Flash Cannon instead, that would have been a disaster, and that would have been a very stupid play on my part, but I got away with it. So, Gyarados comes in, and this is good for us because we've got the Ancient Power, and we've got the resistance to their Dragon Breath. We double resist because we're a Fairy. At which point my opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes. I'm impressed with that. If that was a bit of a cheeky switch, really switching a Togekiss into a Registeel is just not a very clever thing to do generally. Right, so Swampert in the lead. This is not great for us because it does have some real hard-hitting power. However, we can peck away with it with the Charm. So what we're going to do is let the Hydro Cannon land, because we've been counting moves and we know it's a Hydro Cannon, and we're going for a quick switch from Obstagoon. Obstagoon should be able to farm it most of the way down. Wait, not quite though. It gets us out so far. So 5 more for our next Hydro Cannon. Are we going to make it? Hang on a minute. I've miscounted my mud shots. Oh well. So we have to shield this one because otherwise it puts on far too low health, and we're just going to farm all the way down and build up to a double Night Slash. In comes Cresselia. Great. Super effective with Night Slashes. We aren't going to shield whatever they throw at us. We're going to hope they try and bait us with a Grass Knot, but we don't care. We're just going to let it land because we're going to bring in the Bisharp and farm down on the Cresselia. Now we've got the switch advantage here. And there we go. So, Night Slash coming in. Yep. So pressure their shields. Not going to shield here. If we're lucky this is a Grass Knot, we'll get a bit more damage in. And sure enough, it was. There we go. But it looks like they're actually going... No, we are going to get to the Night Slash. Even better. Thanks to the Dark type double resisting the Psychic, we do actually last quite a long time to for them to farm us down. So we might actually get to another one if they don't throw, which is great. We've pushed them to throwing their move. So their health is nice and low, and we still double resist their Psychic if we bring in Bisharp. So we're just going to go farmy, 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 and obviously now we resist their Grass Knots, and we're neutral to their Moonblasts. So we're going to get a nice big energy lead, and it's Giratina. Hello. There is nothing this can do that we don't resist. That's why this thing is just so tasty. We resist the Dragon Claws, we resist the Dragon Breaths, we resist the Shadow Claws, and we resist the Shadow Sneaks. I suppose they might have Ancient Power. Oh wait, no, we resist that too. So, you know, this is just a horribly bad matchup for Giratina. And there we go. We're just going to farm it. I don't know why they shielded there actually. I can only assume whatever they've got in the back is even worse. So we're going to let this land, because it still doesn't take us out. There we go. So we are going to throw the Dark Pulse, and I'm going to shield here to get the Dark Pulse off, but I think I've misjudged that because that move going through was actually enough to take us out, even with a shield, because you do still do 1 hit point of damage. However, their low health Swampert is not going to be closing the game for them. Goodbye. I probably shouldn't have shielded the Bisharp, obviously because it took it out even through the shield, but I thought I'd do it to showcase it, and we won anyway, so that's okay. Right, what we've got next? Next up, Togekiss into Cresselia. So as before, we are going to switch into our Obstagoon and let the Cresselia waste its energy on there. Again, hoping for a Moonblast to come through. Actually, hoping not. Hoping they'll bait us with a Grass Knot. However, maybe this time it's a Moonblast. No, we're going to let it land either way. What we really want them to do is just waste their time chewing away at an Obstagoon, because that will get us in a good place. We can apply the shield pressure with Night Slashes and just let it go down. And if we do end up getting double Moonblasted, so be it. Then we'll bring the Bisharp and we start farming again. So that's the idea here. Grass Knot, great. So single Moonblast, single Grass Knot. That seems to happen a lot. They seem to throw Moonblast first, Grass Knot second. Fine by me. I'm not going to shield either. So there we go, nice and low for us. Push them to use their energy, even better. Actually, there's not quite enough health on there for me, but you know, it'll do. Bisharp will get a couple of snarls worth of farming and take out Cresselia. So now we've got 2 snarls of energy lead, that's great. And what have you got to take this on? It's a Swampert. Okay, so here Swampert does us actually quite a lot of damage. The ground is super effective of course, and Hydro Cannon hits like a truck. So we're probably just going to throw our Togekiss under the bus. We're going to shield, because this will do us a lot of harm. And we're actually anticipating there's a chance of seeing a Giratina in the back anyway. I'd have thought they'd have brought a Steel out, or a Registeel out if they'd had it already, and we don't. So yeah. So we're going to Togekiss, and it's a Muck. This is going to be challenging actually, because Muck has the Sludge Wave, and that will pretty much one-shot us. Maybe we'll get to a charge move as well. Sludge Wave, no, pretty much one-shots us, as I said. Right, so now we need to farm up a little bit more and throw the Focus Blast. Hopefully they don't realise this is what we can do, because that will take out the Muck, but I think we're in a sticky position, because I don't think we're going to get to 2 high Dark Pulses against the Swampert. No, we're not going to make this. Close, but no cigar, as they say. Ooh, very close, actually. Yeah, not quite. One more Snarl might have done that, but so it goes. I'll take it. Earthquake was plenty to take us out, so they could Hydro Cannon as well before then. So it wasn't really... So it goes. As you can see, this team does really well if they've got Giratina, Cresselia, and it's not quite so brutal against the rest of the meta. So, quickly into Obstagoon, because they've probably got Bullet Punch. Why they brought Giratina out, I don't know, because it's not actually good a matchup. But it does have Dragon Breath, so that's not terrible. Whereas against Togekiss, it is terrible. So we've got the boost, so that's great. We're just going to do that again. Boost fishing. Sometimes that happens and it's glorious. Double boost, even better. Right, so we're going to shield really aggressively now, because now we've got 100% extra damage on our Obstagoon. It's going to be hitting like a truck. So we're just going to keep it in play and try and keep hold of that boost as long as possible. Sometimes that goes off, and I think this is pretty much game over at this point, because a double boost is quite ridiculous when you've got something vulnerable to Dark in front of you. So I'm not actually sure why they shielded there, but maybe whatever they had in the back also doesn't like Obstagoons. Anyway, so a bit more damage pecking away. There we go. Obstagoon can take that out. Big chunk off the Giratina. And what have we got next? Okay, so Poliwrath. This can hurt us with Dynamic Punch. Ooh, no. That's probably a nice punch because I have how fast I got it out, but I don't know if it'll be enough to take us out. Not quite, so they can have a cross drop in return. And look at that. Wow, that's a big chunk. So we've almost taken out 2 of their team now, so I guess with Togekiss to finish off the Poliwrath, and then switch immediately Bisharp to take on Scizor, or Sizzle. We resist everything they've got, so good game to my opponent. Actually, if they had X-Scissor, that would have been neutral, so it wouldn't have been terrible. But they usually have Iron Head and Night Slash, so that would have been bad news. Almost no one uses X-Scissor because it is so terrible. Again, Swampert lead. We're just going to let the first Hydro Cannon drop. We're going to switch. There we go, first Hydro Cannon coming through. We're going to switch into our Obstagoon and let the second Hydro Cannon land as well. And hopefully get the Swampert low enough to be able to farm it. Right, there we go, incoming Hydro Cannon. At this point I've invited my opponent to bring in any counters they've got to, Darks. If they had a fighter here, they'd have probably switched it in, so we can be pretty confident they don't have a fighter. And they don't have a fairy. So that's good for us. That means Bisharp is in a good place to perhaps be able to sweep at the end of the game. Now we do shield, because obviously we want to get the Swampert a little bit lower so we can farm it down. And throw a Night Slash again. They do slightly outpace us to charge moves with Hydro Cannon, but not actually by all that much. It's, 5 counters to a Night Slash, and 5 Mud Strots, then 4 Mud Strots to a Hydro Cannon. So they do hit us slightly harder and faster, but not quite so bad as all that. And there's Night Slash going through, and goodbye Swampert. So, incoming Registeel. Now this is a bit of a tough one. We're just going to cross-chop it, and I'd like to try and catch that Focus Blast on a Togekiss, but I wasn't paying enough attention, so maybe I'll try and switch to Togekiss. No, not quite. Not quite. See, I tapped on it, but they'd have Flash Cannoned me, so probably just as well that didn't switch. Right, now we go for the Bisharp, and hopefully a Dark Pulse will go through. There we go, incoming Dark Pulse, and now the Registeel is going to hit us with a Focus Blast, and this time we switch, and again, try the really stupid switch to catch a Focus Blast and pull it off. Excellent. It's a cheesy stunt, but it seems to work. Right, so... Ooh, look at that. Galarian Meowth. No, Berserker, that's the one. That's the word I was fishing for. Foul play? Yikes. Okay, so this is not looking so good anymore. I think we can maybe take this out with a Dark Pulse, but I think we're going to be in trouble against the Reggie. But okay, we're just going to overcharge a little bit, because obviously their Shadow Claw doesn't do us a lot of damage. Their Dark move also doesn't do us a lot of damage. And Berserker's pretty squishy, so there's the Reggie. And we had the energy lead to take it out with the Dark Pulse. Good game to my opponent. It's nice to see Berserker out to play, actually. I quite like that one. It's one of my favourites. Togekiss into a Muck. So this is not so good for us, because it resists... Charm's neutral, actually, and we resist the Dark, but we are going to have to watch out for the Sludge Wave. So we're going for a quick switch into Bisharp to catch the Sludge Wave. on the steel type, which is double resistant to poison, and there we go. Now, we're not in a great place here because obviously it does resist the dark damage, and oh look, there's an Escavalier, that's going to tear us apart. I suppose this is bait in reverse. This is going to draw out any fighting types, which it has successfully done. So now we are going to bring in our Togekiss and deal with this Escavalier. Pretty much everything they can throw at us is resisted, so we're just going to not shield this. They might be throwing an acid spray. I mean, I suppose technically that is super effective, but it does hardly any damage, so there's no point shielding it anyway. We're going to throw our Ancient Power. This is neutral to them because the bug and the steel balances out, so it does a useful chunk. And we're going to peck away. Now, again, we're gambling that this is either a Drill Run or a Mega Horn, and sure enough, it was. And peck away with the Togekiss. We've just got a move loaded, and what we're hoping is what they've got in the back is something we can take down with our Obstagoon. And sure enough, it's a Cresselia. Now, we are going to have to call the Moonblast properly and not get nuked by that, but we do have 2 shields to their 1 shield, so we should be outpacing them to the moves. Again, we're going to call it with first Moonblast, second a Grass Knot, third a Moonblast. Okay, good timing with my opponent. They're pulling that switch on me in return. So they caught the Mud Shot, the Night Slash on their Muck. We're not going to shield here and miscall it as a Sludge Wave, because if it was a Dark Pulse we'd have been okay. However, we are going to take the opportunity to farm a little bit, get a bit of an energy lead, and then drop the Cross Drop. And they don't shield, so we take them out. There we go, in comes Cresselia. We've still got the energy lead to hit them with a Night Slash. Fish for a boost maybe? No, not today. And right, so can't afford not to shield at this point because either Grass Knot will take us very low and Moonblast will take us out. So we do shield and we throw the Night Slash. We're outpacing them slightly faster to Night Slashes than they do to Moonblasts. And we switch now, hopefully to catch a move or just pressure them to throw it. So sure enough, incoming Grass Knot, that's good, and I think that means we're going to get to the Night Slash and close this match. Here we go. Swirly Slash of Death. Goodbye, Cresselia. What do we have next? What's going to the end of our playlist? 4 to go. Okay, that's good. Right, so Giratina lead, Articuno. So I wasn't sure about which one to bring in for this one, so I thought I'd go with the Obstagoon, just because we can hit them for neutral with our Night Slashes and our counters. They're obviously going to debuff us with Icy Winds, but we are actually able to lay the hurt on them quite nicely. So we're just going to let it land. And it's Hurricane, which would have been a nuisance if it was a fighter, but it's not, so it's not a big deal. Actually, they probably should have used an Icy Wind there, but so it goes. We did let the Hurricane land, it didn't take us out. And we are now going to not quite be able to finish off this Articuno, but that's fine because we are going to be able to farm it down with the Togekiss. I could possibly have done it with the Bisharp, and that would have got a nice energy lead, but I don't want to show my hand just yet. So Swampert in the back. If I brought out the Bisharp now, then the Swampert would have been a problem for me. However, right now I can just throw rocks at the Swampert. Not get a shield, but you know. So this is probably a Hydro Cannon, so we're just going to let it land, and sure enough it was. You don't see very many Sludge Waving Swamperts. It's a risk in this meta, but it's not that big a risk because it doesn't do too well against Giratina if you don't bring Earthquake. So we are gambling that they are in fact an Earthquake Swampert, and we'll just be Hydro Canning us. I think counting moves, they're about to get to another Hydro Cannon, so we throw the charge move here, and we get the shield off them, and still take them out. Okay, well that's okay. And a Giratina in the back. Okay, so this is where we get the Bisharp out, and shall we go for the Brazen no shields? Well, it's not going to matter because they concede. Good game. As before, there's just nothing they can do against the Dark Steel with the Giratina, so, and equal shields. Even with the shield lead, it's a very unfair fight. So, next up, Togekiss into Machamp. Ooh, this is not looking good. This is going to hurt. And then Empoleon. Right, well, we do have a counter for Empoleon. We've got Obstagoon, so we'll bring that out. And we'll keep that away from the Machamp. We really need to get that Machamp out of the way because of how badly it wrecks our core team. However, Empoleon is not going to be liking the cross drops. I think I need to hold on to this one a little bit longer and try and take out the Empoleon here. And sure enough, yeah, goodbye Empoleon. Anticipating the Machamp comes out, we're going to lose this Obstagoon obviously, and it's not. They've got a Grand Ball. So Two of the things this team doesn't like in fighters and fairies, they've got both. This is not looking good for us. I'm undecided at this point as to which would be the worst choice to bring out. So I'm going to go with the Bisharp, because that is at least neutral to Charm. And maybe they don't know what we've got and we can threaten them a little bit. It's not looking good, but Bisharp against Machamp would be even worse. So, and there it is, look at that. It's just embarrassing how fast that goes down, but we are going to get their Machamp in return. We are going to have to shield the Rock Slide. Yep, there we go. And nibble it all the way down. Now, this is going to be tight. Their Granbull's got slightly more health than us, so we're just going to go for a Boost Fish. We'd like to get the shield off them for this. Yeah, and yeah. That may have cost us a match actually, because they're not doing the charm damage, but no, I think they'd have won that anyway. So, as you can see, this team does very well if they've got Cresselia and Giratina, and not so well if they've got a counter-meta team. So it goes. Right, leading into Gyarados. So if they've got Dragon Breath, we're good. Yep, Dragon Breath. So, Dragon Breath and Aqua Tail means the matchup isn't disastrous here, but it is kind of, you know, not great for them. So we're just going for a switch from Obstagoon, and again, to draw out the fighter, just like that. We are going to throw our Night Slash at it. Again, a bit of a Boost Fish, a bit of pressure the shield, get a shield off them, that's good. We're just going to let this go down. It might seem counterintuitive to go up against a Steel with a Togekiss, but that's exactly what we're going to do now, because we do actually resist most of what they've got. We are gambling quite hard they haven't got Acid Spray, and we're just going to throw an Ancient Power and hope they take the bait on that one and draw a shield. They don't, but that's okay. Instead, we're just going to farm them down. We are going to take a move in return though. It's unfortunate, but it's not going to hurt too badly. Mega Horn, yeah, there we go. Takes a chunk off, but not too bad. So, out comes Gyarados again. At this point we are going to shield, because actually their double resisted Dragon Breath means they haven't got anything better for taking on a Fairy. So that probably means they've got some. Okay, I've miscounted on how many turns it takes to get to an Aqua Tail. We're just going to let that one land, because we can't afford to give up our last shield. Bisharp is going to farm. This also resists Dragon Breath, so that's okay. And it's going to give us an opportunity to build up some energy lead for whatever they've got in the back. We have Dark, we have Fighting, so the only thing that really can scupper us now is a Fairy, and it's not, it's a Giratina. So, this is where we get to see how well it does with energy lead, but shield disadvantage. Takes a huge chunk off, and we're just going to do that again. And I think at this point, I think it's quite solid that there's not a lot they can do, and so they don't bother shielding. I don't think it'd have mattered if they shielded or not, because we'd have got to another one in plenty of time. Right, last match it is. Togekiss leading into Gyarados. Again, great for us if they've got Dragon Breath and they go quickly to the Swampert switch. So at this point, I'm going to stay in, because actually the rest of my team can handle Gyarados a bit better, but doesn't really like Swampert too much. We are going to shield here, and a Hydro Cannon. That's okay, it looks like we're going to take out the Swampert, and we're going to switch to an Obstagoon to catch the other Hydro Cannon. There we go, and go for a bit of a farm down here. Farmy, 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 and they're going to get to another Hydro Cannon. Swampert is just so spammy. We're going to let that one land because we can't afford to give up that extra shield. And in comes Gyarados, at which point we throw a Night Slash. We're going to bring Togekiss back out again because they already switched out of that matchup because they didn't like it. So I guess we're going to like it a bit more and throw another Night Slash. Yep. I suppose I can't really throw stones about Swampert being spammy because Obstagoon's pretty spammy too. So there we go. Right, got the shield. Okay, so Togekiss comes in, we get the Ancient Power off immediately. Super effective to a flying type. So does a good chunk off the Gyarados. I'm going to let this land because we want to keep the shield for the Bisharp. And it's an Aqua Tail. Not too big a deal. And a Scissor in the back with Bullet Punch, which we resist. And Night Slash, which we resist. And probably Iron Head, which we resist. So that's good for us. And bad for them. So we're not going to shield. Sure enough, Night Slash, which we resist. Farmy, farmy, farmy. My opponent concedes. Good game. There we go, that's your lot. I think that was quite a good run. I think this team is doing very nicely indeed. I don't think it is at all a well-balanced or even-handed team. It mostly relies on abusing the fact that almost everyone's got a Psychic or a Ghost, or both, on their team. Still, It's done me quite well so far. I'm probably going to keep playing it just because I quite enjoy the fun of a bait team like this. And hope your day is going well. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed all that, I'll probably be producing some more, and there is a subscribe button for exactly that reason if you want to see it. Thank you very much.